Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to my latest episode of my vlog of multi-tools series. You're at the We All Juggle Knives channel, by the way. Welcome, one and all. Alright, so in this episode I'm going to give you overviews of some interesting stuff. That is the 14-in-1 Cranach multi-tool. It was $15. Pretty interesting. That other multi-tool is the Siupro multi-tool. And, you know, it's one multi-tool that splits into two tools. I've got some stuff for your keychain. We've got Sheffield and Keygear utility knives. I got the Lumentop Nano, a crazy powerful flashlight that's keychain size. I got the Tacray. It's a pry bar, you know, a mini pry, and a utility knife. And something I found at Home Depot. That is the Milwaukee Fastback 6-in-1 utility knife multi-tool. Now in the text description box there will be all kinds of links to this stuff, this other things you'll see in the video, as well as different items of interest in the same category. So there's going to be, you know, the budget multi-tools, the utility knives, the keychain stuff. So check out those links. I'm sure you'll find some good deals, useful stuff. So feel free to check those out. Alright, let's get into all this stuff. Alright, this is a pretty interesting item. It's the Tacray. Alright, the Tacray it's a pry tool and a utility knife. Alright, to deploy the utility blade, you just push down on that. Alright, so just push down and then it'll slide out. And push down and you can retract it. It's got a bottle opener and a pry tool. Now, if you actually want to replace that blade, you unscrew that and it'll come out. But mainly it's just a little mini pry tool. But I like this because it kind of combines, like, you know, that super sharp utility blade with something that's kind of reminds me of my Gerber shard, you know what I'm saying? So basically combining two small useful tools in one item. That's pretty good because I don't like I don't like my keychain to be too heavy. So any consolidation item like this, I'm kind of attracted to. It kind of reminds me of this Gerber Prybrid X. These are different categories in size, right? So obviously, this is like a miniature version. Pretty useful. I mean, you're not going to feel this on your keychain. So, good idea. Glad I picked it up. I will include a link to this if you want to try one out yourself. And the price on this was $20. So alright, a little steep for a keychain gizmo, but if you're into this type of stuff, you probably won't mind. This multi-tool was sold on Amazon as the Cranach 14-in-1 multi-tool. The price was listed as $20, but it was discounted to $15. I will include a link, however, they almost pretty much sold out already, but I'll include a link because perhaps they're going to get more in stock, hopefully. Now this has a very minimalist tool set. As you can see, it's got a plain edge blade, it's got a wood saw, it's got a Phillips screwdriver, it's got a reamer, it's got a lanyard hole, it's got a can opener, a bottle opener, a very short file, and a screwdriver end on the end of the bottle opener. Oh, it's also got a wire stripping notch, and there's also a wire bending notch on the bottle opener. And of course you got your typical multi-tool pliers with the wire cutters. It's got one-handed opening for the two longer tools with opening slots. Alright, this is my offhand, but here's the blade. And it's got liner locks. And the saw. Now the shorter tools do not lock. However, there is a very strong, basically it's like a back spring, so there's friction. And it's pretty strong. Now notice this only has two slots for the longer tools. Alright, there's none on the other side, but they do give you a pocket clip. This did also come with a belt pouch, even though it has a clip, so that's nice. Now there are two things I would recommend for this multi-tool to make it function better. Number one, the pivots seem to be over-tightened at the factory, and so when I first got this, the one-handed opening feature really didn't work. It was so stiff it would not open smoothly. So the first thing I would recommend is to go ahead and adjust those pivots. Now, the hardware, those are Torx, right? So you're going to need Torx drivers like those two there. But unfortunately, that hardware is a little bit soft and it takes a lot of force to adjust the pivots. So, in the event that you do strip some of that hardware, I would also recommend having some pliers, because it may come down to you actually have to hold it like this. All right. Oh, and I got these for $14. I'll include a link to these pliers. All right, now I've got it how I want it. That's my offhand, and I was able to open it pretty smoothly, even with my offhand, and the other one as well. All right, so yeah, that would be step one. Adjust the pivots that were over tightened. Now, the other thing I would recommend is that you sharpen the blade. Just touch it up a little. I used my sharp maker, my Spyderco sharp maker. All right, so let's check out the sharpness after about a minute of touch up on that sharp maker. All right, not bad at all. I mean, for a $15, multi-tool knife. So those are the two steps to making this multi-tool better. Finishing the tool, like adjusting the pivots, that should have been done at the factory. And putting the final edge on the blade, that should have also been done at the factory. However, I got such a good price on this, I don't mind at all basically having to finish the multi-tool. Now, the reason I'm doing an overview instead of a full review is because when I last checked, they only had 5 of these left, like on all of Amazon. Okay, that's not enough. Like, one person could buy all the remaining ones. Like I said, I am hoping that maybe by the time I post this, maybe they're going to put more up there. But who knows? This thing could disappear. So if they do put a lot of inventory up there, I will do a full review of this, because it has so few tools, I could do it in half the time. I'm dying to review this thing. I mean, this has a lot of pluses and a lot of minuses. I mean, basically, it has very few tools, right? So it's a minimalist multi-tool. But when you have a minimalist multi-tool, you want something that's light and easy to carry. And this is it's kind of thick and heavy, So basically, like, the ratio of the weight and the bulk to the number of tools you get is not so good. But the thing is, the low price really just washes away all the sins. Like, for $15, I'm fine with carrying a little bit heavier of a multi-tool. So yeah, I think they priced this correctly. Now here's a pretty interesting multi-tool. This was sold on Amazon as the Siupro multi-tool. That's the box that it came in. And I've never heard of that brand before. Came with this belt pouch, got a belt loop there. It's got Velcro there. It did come with that standard bit kit and adapter that many of these multi-tools do come with. Alright, so we have a combo edge blade, we have a wood saw, typical multi-tool pliers, we have a Phillips screwdriver, we have very large shears, and we even have a little fire starter with a whistle in the handle. Alright, so those shears are actually detachable, and here's the little trick. That Phillips screwdriver is also the lock, right? It's the lock for that, so there's a nail nick on it. Right, so this has to be open if you want to be able to detach those shears. Alright, let me try to freaking remember this. Okay. Yeah, if I remember correctly, you gotta push it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, see. And now, there you go. Right, so that's actually a good freaking idea, because it's a lot easier to use the shears, and also, now that it separates, I mean, theoretically you could be holding something that you wish to cut if that became necessary. Or one person can be, I don't know, gardening, and the other person can be whatever they're using the pliers for. Now to reattach it, you see that hole there? Right, that little peg fits into that hole, and then you slide it. Right, so let's try this. All right, you slide it back, and as I said, when this is closed, that locks it. All right, so now it's back on there. Now both the shears and the pliers are spring-loaded. All right, so that is spring-loaded, and see that? That is also spring-loaded. Now as for the blade, it's got one-handed opening with a thumb stud, and it does lock with a liner lock. But as you can see, it is a combo edge blade. That's the only thing I would change about this. I would change it to a plain edge blade. Now that thick Phillips, first of all, it gives you a lot of reach. That's pretty good. Right? Oh, that can be used as a bottle opener as well. Right? But the adapter, right, it's square so it fits on top of that. And then little bits. All right, so that actually makes it pretty useful. Little bit kit. All right, and it does not fall out. All right, so that's useful. Yeah, I like this a lot. I like that they give you a bit kit instead of trying to stick like 5 little random size screwdrivers on the tool itself. They just give you a bit kit with a lot of useful bits. Now this does not lock, but there is actually, hold on. There's a lot of, you can hear that. There's a lot of friction, so that's not bad. Now the fire steel, which is more like a backup, you know what I mean, because it's small, but basically, see that? The fire steel fits in there. Now the saw on this also locks, which is nice. See, it's got a liner lock right there. I believe previous or other models of this actually did not have that, but this does. And this also has ruler markings here. I guess that's if you're going fishing, you want to measure your catch there. Yeah, so the price on this was $26, and I have to say, I mean, I actually like all the tools they put on there, right? You know, like I said, all that I would change would be the combo edge. I would change that for a plain edge, but at least they gave you a wide blade, right? An unusually large blade for a multi-tool, because that one handle is extra wide itself. So at least they're giving you more blade width than most multi-tools do. So yeah, I mean, I've seen variations of this. I've seen many variations of this same frame, but I think the Siupro actually got the tool set right. You know, there's just one factory in China that makes like 10 different versions of this with the same frame. And after looking through all the different versions, I like this one the best. I definitely do recommend this. Now, is it going to replace my Leatherman charge? Okay, obviously not. Let's not get crazy. I'm just saying for $26, it's really decent. All right, I'll include a link to this. All right, this item is the Keygear box cutter, Keygear, and it's a slide out. It's a keychain sized little utility knife. It's got a slide right there. Put it on your key ring, and you just push that forward. Comes with a little plastic blade guard, and it has a little mini utility knife blade right there. Right, so it's convenient, keychain size, one-handed opening. I think they should make an even thinner version because you don't need liners as thick as a folder on something like this, but I am glad that it's stout and durable. But this is actually sold out twice. Sold out once when it came back. I jumped on it and I just checked and it's sold out again. But I'm going to include the link for whenever they get more of these. But yeah, I mean, that is, you know, that is a pretty convenient item, I'd say. All right, here's a little size comparison with Estwings' new keychain utility knife. Right, so around the same size. Right, so if this is still sold out, you can get yourself one of these. I'll include a link to this as well. But as you can see now, this one, it folds out, right? That's the lock. All right, so the battle, the slide versus the folder. Pretty handy. I also found this, the Sheffield. You know, it's just like a miniaturized little utility knife, but, you know, around the same length. I'll include a link to this as well. Now this is a little big compared to, I've shown this before, right, the Allway Mark IV. Alright, so if you need an even smaller one, you might get this one. I'll include a link to this as well. But if you have really big hands, you might actually want the bigger one, depending how big your hands are. But yeah, these little keychain utility knives, they're pretty handy, they're pretty useful. Alright, and while we are on the keychains, I might as well show this. This is the Lumentop Nano. I probably will do a full review of this, but this thing is crazy. First of all, it's USB rechargeable. Maximum lumens 450 and maximum beam distance 300 meters. Keep in mind, this is tiny. 300 meters. Alright, let's just do, oh hold on. I had it locked out. I didn't want to drain any parasitic drain. Okay. Now, shortcut, double tap. So that is the turbo. That's 450 lumens. Okay, and you can see the hotspot. But look how small that thing is. Well, bump the tripod. Look how small that thing is. 450 lumens, and like I said, it's got a USB recharging, but you know, you can wait for the full review if you want. But it's got ramping. It'll ramp up. But yeah, so this thing, $40, I will include a link. Yeah, it's crazy what they're coming out with now. I mean, 300 meter max beam distance. I've never had a keychain light that can do that, so basically I had to get it. Oh, and they no longer make this, CRKT no longer makes this anymore, but oh, that reminds me, because they don't make that CRKT Ringer 2 anymore, this is probably one of the closest, like, similar ideas as far as a small Talon type knife that theoretically could be on your keychain or just somewhere else on you. This is a Bastinelli Diagnostic Karambit. It's pretty vicious and it's also pretty useful. A size comparison for you. Now that Bastinelli is extremely expensive. However, they do have knockoffs on Amazon. Now I have the real one. I'm not saying you should buy the knockoff. I like Bastinelli. He's a knife maker. I'm a knife collector. I have the real one. However, I don't expect you all to be knife collectors or to necessarily care, so I will include a link to the Bastinelli and to the very similar items that are less expensive. One of my viewers told me that there's a 6-in-1 Milwaukee multi-tool, and this is it, but it was not on Amazon. I had to go to Home Depot to get it. Right? But yeah, what are the 6 functions? And also I found this. So that smaller one is the Fastback Compact. And you know, I thought I had already had a Fastback Compact, but apparently there's this model which I already had. Hold on. Ta. But apparently they have a different model now. Alright. So this has a more contoured handle, this model. And this other model, they've extended a liner and they have, you know, to make a lanyard slot. And as you can see, they've also changed the pocket clip as well, right? But they both have that same type of lock where you can, hold on, you can just flick them out. Just flick them out real quick. And to close it, it'll swing freely, right? So if you press that, it'll just swing freely. All right, that's interesting. So that's the, new to me anyway, the compact version, a different compact version of the Fastback. Now, what up with this 6-in-1 multi-tool? Okay, well, first of all, it has that lock, allows you to flick it out. So the first function would just be the utility knife. Then it has a wire stripping notch. It's got this bit driver, which you can open one-handed. So the other 3 functions, you know, you got the Phillips screwdriver, and you've got a flathead, so that's 2 more functions. And you've got a socket driver, which this actually fits the back panel of my freezer. So there is a use for a socket driver like that. Alright, so that's 5 functions. What's the other one? Oh, I forgot. What's the other one? It's got a bottle opener right here for your beer. Alright, that's pretty cool. 6-function Milwaukee. If this does come on Amazon, I'll include a link, but I might have to just include the Home Depot link. And this does have storage for an extra blade. It has this little part right here you can depress, and I have one of my Irwin blades stashed in there. That's cool. Alright YouTube, I hope you enjoyed this video. Now if you like videos like this where I do basically a really quick survey summaries of a whole bunch of different options in different categories, just random cool stuff, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. Alright, check out the links, those do help support the channel, and I appreciate all who use them. Alright, so stay tuned for future episodes of Vlog of Multitools and everything else. This has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.